Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's Let's Talk Leeds, or it might be in some ways Let's Rant Leeds, as we'll get into that shortly. Because obviously, if you're a Leeds fan, you'll know that transfer activity, in terms of ins, has been pretty damn slow. I'm going to start off by saying, because, you know, we've got one person with us today. There's no Mike, unfortunately, but we have got Mattinho Got Game. And I'm looking forward to this next part, because I know he's not happy. And he kind of let out a little bit of steam on Mr. Radrizzani. Do you want to elaborate on that?
I'm just trying to find the tweet again because I'm just trying. I want to refresh my memory. What did I say to him? Yeah, basically I said, "Or how about you stop swanning around with the closeted commies? Get the fuck back to Leeds and sign some fucking players pronto, you prancing shit."
Might have been a little bit harsh, like, you know. He's just enjoying the football, you know, the World Cup and that. Because obviously the World Cup pretty much is over for us now. At this point, I'm hoping this will be out before the third place playoff, because that's going to be an epic encounter. Said no one, but yeah, it kind of sums up a lot of the fans' feelings. From everything I've seen on social media, a lot of fans are not happy. They've been saying, "Oh, we're delighted to announce that," like for instance, ticket prices have been frozen, and then just a load of criticisms come in, thinking, "You wankers, why aren't you saying or announcing a signing or something like that?" It's frustrating, because they're seeing teams like Nottingham Forest go out and sign all these players, and decent players at that. And they're laying out their intentions straight away, and we just seem to be sitting back.
Yeah, and the fact that we're supposedly letting 15 players go, it's just you get the feeling that we're going to get to a week before the season, and we're going to have to start panic buying, and then when other teams know you're in a bit of a bind to fix, that time's not on your side, then it's the ball's in their court really, and that just makes things so much more difficult to get deals over the line, and we're going to start to overpaying for players and so on. So yeah, the rant at Radrizzani was, he's just supposedly, I think I saw something that he's just, or his company has just secured the rights to Syria.
Yeah.
Which, I can't help but think that's possibly one of the big reasons he's over there. Maybe he's talking to people over there. Not that the Italians were at the World Cup. Yeah. But
they were saying, Vifangulo.
Yeah, no. Vafangulo.
Vafangulo.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just, if it was like last season when the transfer window ends, which is the end of August, then it wouldn't be so bad. But the transfer window is going to end before the season starts, and
season pretty much.
Yeah, and our season starts a week before the Premier League season, and we've got 3 weeks maybe tops.
See, the concerning thing for me with that is normally our Premier League will register the squads, and then all the cast-offs are available, aren't they? Now, we won't be able to get any of those cast-offs because our transfer window will shut. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, am I right in thinking that we are able to loan?
I'm not sure on that. I'm not sure if that's changed.
We can't do. I can't remember. I'm sure I've seen something somewhere. Someone correct me in the comments if needs be. But if we can still loan, we might still be able to get them in. But obviously, that's not making a lot of people happy, because they want us to spend some money. We said we've got this 20 million war chest, so we're yet to spend a penny of it yet. Unless Leif Davis has cost a considerable amount, which I doubt it from Markham. We'll get into the ins and outs shortly. But yeah, it's just all these loan deals. I'm under the understanding, not that I've got any clear sources, that we're trying to get loan deals with things in place. That's like the squeakiest door I've ever heard. We're trying to get things in place where we've got a future fee afterwards. So whether Lewis Baker has got a future fee, I'm not entirely sure. He's 22. He's still got an odd chance of getting into the Chelsea side. I find it unlikely. One thing you can't argue since we last did a video, which of course it's been a while, but there's been nothing really to report of note apart from obviously the Baker signing. But we're going to start off with the outs, which, as you've just touched there, Matt, before, I'm going to quickly list them all that's gone out. O'Connor has got to Blackpool. Denton's got to Peterborough. Wilkes has got to Donny. Sabisky, how you pronounce it, Seabiscuit is what I call him. Mould FK has gone to. Big man Groot. I don't know why I did that with my arms. I like to make me look like I've got massive shoulders, but because he's nearly as big as me. One day he'll get as big as me. But anyway, VVV Venlo have taken him. Coyle has gone to Fleetwood again for another season. Lonergan is Lonergan. You know, cheap, shitty joke there for you. He's gone on free. Yeah, cheers for that delayed one. I might have to insert my own one as well. Felix, as we know, went to Frankfurt. I think we touched on that last time. And Antonsen is the latest one. It's not been confirmed yet, but I've got it under. Well, I'm sure you've all seen it. I mean, Adam Pope tweeted it out, and he tweeted like a link to some Swedish press sort of thing that Antonsen is going to Malmo, who is managed by former manager Yuri Rosler, of course. But like I said, it's not been confirmed. Now, what do you think to all those outs, Matt? Do you think they're ones you expected?
Yeah, most of them are the ones we sort of expected. A little bit disappointed that Coyle went because he was very, very good for Fleetwood, and I think he would have been someone who's good to maybe have in reserve for if Ayling, like Ayling got injured last season, having someone in there because Berardi was a little bit. You can't doubt his commitment, but sometimes it's just is he going to do something stupid that's going to land us in more trouble than it's worth, really, to have him in the squad. Yeah, because he got sent off plenty of times, and he does have a bit of an issue aggression-wise. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
but I mean, glory of hindsight, J-Roy Grott, he's been banging him in. But again, we don't know. The level of the opposition is debatable. But yeah, I mean, letting him go in particular, because I still think he's a good player. I still think he will come good, but letting him go before we've got anyone in the door, and then with the Vidra deal pretty much nearly dead in the water from what I've been reading. Yeah, Hernandez has already gone to with CSKA Moscow.
Has he actually gone? I've not seen that being confirmed yet. I know there's strong links with CSKA.
From what I've heard someone say, supposedly he's getting like a $5 million signing on bonus and like 67,000 a week. But I don't know.
I've heard that sort of thing with us, didn't we? Like it was confirmed that he would sign a deal with us for about 40 grand a week or whatever it was. Until it's been like signed and sealed and delivered and whatever else, I still think there's this. Obviously, it's probably unlikely, but there's still a chance. It's still a freebie at the end of the day. Is there any chance it could change his mind? I mean, I'm more hopeful than all else, I think, to be honest with you. But I'm very disappointed because I had it under good authority. I say good authority, but it obviously can't be. It was the same person that told us about Bielsa, basically. That it was happening before, and people might argue, well, everyone knew Bielsa were coming, but I'm talking about before that was even broke, that I found that out, and when he said it, Hernandez, and same with Vidra as well, it was supposedly going to be a done deal on that, but it looks like these have fallen off the wayside, it seems, but otherwise, one player I'm a little bit disappointed to see go, and it's kind of similar to what you're saying in regards to Grott going. In terms of we haven't really got the personnel as it stands to play this formation that he's wanted to do with 3 centre-backs. And that's O'Connor. And I can understand him going out alone. But in his current situation, we've got Pontus, Cooper, and I'm struggling. Is it Ayling that goes in centre-back as well? Have I missed one of them?
Possibly Ayling.
I know Berardi had a couple of games, didn't he, in centre-back?
Shaughnessy, is he still here?
Yeah, Shaughnessy, yeah, I suppose there is, but he's had a big injury.
Yeah. So yeah,
I forgot a man, it seems, in my eyes anyway.
It's just so thin on the ground nearly everywhere. The one area we weren't thin on the ground is the one area we've added a player to, which is the centre of midfield.
Yeah.
So it's just, what are you doing?
I mean, when you look at all the players that have gone out as well, I'm looking at that list and not one of them's a centre mid. You know what I mean? A lot of them are youngsters. Like you've got a centre back, you've got a left back, you've got a striker, you've got another striker, you've got a guy who can play on the wing or up front in Sibiki or Sibiski. I can never pronounce the name. I don't know why. But anyway, Coyle at right back, right wing back. 2 goalkeepers have gone. We still need a keeper. I'll go through the ones that are linked to come in before we go into the actual ins. And as you've just mentioned about Vidra, and we've touched on Hernandez as well. The other one, which was kind of laughable, but it wasn't beyond the realms of possibility with Bielsa in charge, was Torres. He looks like he's off to Japan. So yeah, that's definitely gone. He's actually come out and said that anyway, so that's confirmed. It seems. Vidra and Hernandez, I can't believe what's happened there. I mean, I were ribbing a Derby fan saying, "Oh, coming to Leeds." So no, he's injured. That's why I say no. It's because he's coming to Leeds, and it turns out it might be that he actually was injured. So that's a bit shit. But otherwise, in terms of the goalkeeper situation, we were in for Angus Gunn, who spent last season on loan at Norwich and apparently was very, very good. He's ended up joining Southampton for $13.5 million, which for me is a lot for a goalkeeper. I know he's got a lot of potential because he's only like 23 or something like that. I think he is 22, 23. I think we were trying to get him on loan with the potential of a future fee agreement, but I think that was supposedly about $8 million is what I heard. Which obviously is still a lot of money in my eyes for a goalkeeper, especially if we've only reportedly got 20 million to spend. But $13.5 million, there's no way we could compete with that, unfortunately. Jamal Blackman was linked to well, it was rumoured to be having his medical this morning. So, but again, apparently someone had seen him going into Ellen Road again, but nothing really concrete again. So it's all hearsay at the minute. But we've been linked with him for a couple of weeks now. I'm pretty sure we did see a picture a couple of weeks ago of him at Thorpe Arch. Did you see that, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was around the same time we saw Lewis Baker there, wasn't it?
Yeah. I heard he was meant to be going over to Vitesse to weigh up his options where he wanted to go in Holland, because that's where Baker obviously played for the last 2 seasons. But he's supposedly quite good, and in this instance, while I'm going on this, you might have already seen I've got like an overlay over the top. I've got something over the top of us, which is basically the Football Manager like 2018, which obviously it's 9 months old, so it's not 100% accurate. But in terms of Blackman, because I'm showing you Blackman and comparing him to Bailey Peacock-Farrell in terms of whether you think it's an upgrade or not. Now, bear in mind, Bailey Peacock-Farrell had hardly played a game for us at the start of Football Manager 18, so he hasn't really had a massive increase in terms of his attributes compared to what he probably might have on the next edition. But this is just kind of an idea of, based on the beginning of the season, where these two players are at. So I think if I remember rightly, because I'm talking about this afterwards without looking at it, it's Jamal Blackman looks quite a bit better at this stage than Bailey Peacock-Farrell. But, as long as it's going to be someone who's better, I ain't got an issue with it. But I thought Bailey Peacock-Farrell did enough to warrant a starting place next season. I don't know what you think, Matt, on that situation.
I could echo your sentiments a little bit that if it's someone better, then yes. But honestly, I think Bailey Peacock-Farrell's got a lot of potential. Having someone around the same age, I don't know if that's going to be helpful. Having someone older, a bit of experience, I think could have helped him. We're in for Stockdale, Myhill, which I wasn't.
I think wages might have been an issue with Stockdale. We were wanting like 30-40 grand a week by all accounts. I don't know whether it was true, but that's a lot, that, and you've got to think if Stockdale's coming for that sort of money, he's going to be starting, so Bailey Peacock-Farrell's going to be out anyway. You know what I mean?
Bit of a funny situation. I'm not saying that Jamal Blackman's a bad player, but I don't know. I think maybe. I'm just reading here that because obviously we mentioned Angus Gunn going to Southampton, for a fairly big fee. Fraser Forster.
Yeah, because that's a bit of a. I would have taken someone like him, especially if Gunn's gone to Southampton. That surely means, because who else have they got that's there? It's decent. There's another keeper, isn't there?
McCarthy, who was on loan for us for a little while.
So they've 3 really good goalkeepers in my opinion. There, one of them's only just joined, and I'd have either one of those two. Alex McCarthy were good. They were quite, if I remember rightly, they were very good for us.
Yeah. I'm surprised we didn't. He was on loan from Reading, I think. Was it Reading?
Yeah, I think it was. When they were Premier League, I think, at the time.
But yeah, Fraser Forster, I think he would definitely do a very good job for us. He's obviously very, very experienced, played a lot with Southampton. He's been the number 1 for a few years now. So I don't know how much he'd want in terms of wages and how much Southampton would want in terms of transfer fees. How much money does Southampton have? They've just spent $13.5 million on a keeper. Exactly. So I don't know. they're willing to listen to offers, that's something that I would have liked to have seen. Plus, it's a more permanent solution, than Jamal Blackman. Again, not saying he's a bad keeper, but
it's only on loan, isn't it, as well? So
yeah,
that's what we're looking at.
If it doesn't work out, then where do we go? Yeah, we're back to square one next season or sooner. Where if he comes in and stinks the place up, you can put Bailey Peacock-Farrell in there. But if he was wanting to have BPF as the number one, he'd be the number one now.
Yeah, wouldn't be I think that's
looking
right,
at so.
I think they made a statement already. I think they'll come out and said, well, he's going to be our number one. Miyazaki or whatever I've forgotten his name now. That other young lad, he just signed a new contract as well. In the under 23s, I'd have thought they'd come out and made a statement saying, right, Bailey Peacock-Farrell's going to be his number one this season. Going to put the trust in him, and number two is going to be whoever's the next in line, basically. But the one thing I want to say about Forster is I would imagine his wages would be quite high, probably higher than Stockdale's. That's my stumbling block, because the only one I can think of with regards to him. I can see him moving to another Premier League club, if anything, in my opinion. But moving on, we're going to go across to the actual ins. We've actually got some players in. Get in. So, yeah. Lewis Baker joined from Chelsea on loan. I don't think there's a future fee being agreed, but it is one of those where we might have in the past got a loan from, say, a Swansea City or something like that, i.e. Kyle Bartley. And yeah, he's pissing off to chuff him West Brom, isn't he? Baker is from Chelsea. Chelsea obviously a far better team than Swansea, or the like. And I don't know. I've watched a few clips of him. Obviously, you get him on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure most of you will have had a look. But as you can see on the overlay now, as I'm putting it on, and I'm going to compare him to Phillips. Have a good look at him now, and you'll see a couple of standout attributes from what I remember. If I remember rightly, his free kicks and penalties stand out, and he's both footed as well, which is another key thing. And in the clips that I saw him taking free kicks, he was scoring with his left and his right foot. So he's not afraid to use both feet for free kicks and shoot. So that could be quite an asset. But the rest of his game, I mean, I should be showing you probably Calvin Phillips by now. And I know he's got a mixed opinion from the fans. They look pretty much the same, with Calvin Phillips apparently looking a little bit fitter. And that's the one thing that concerns me. Like you were saying earlier, we've strengthened the one place that we had loads of midfielders, and he's largely in the same sort of calibre, with the exception he can take a set piece. I mean, what do you think about that,
Matt? Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've strengthened the one area that we probably didn't need any strengthening. Does he add something that we don't have? I don't think so, if I'm honest. Well, when I heard the deal come through, I was like,
It was a bit meh, to be fair. He could be class, couldn't he? We had to see. Obviously, he's been playing in Holland, which it helped them win their first major trophy, didn't he? But it's Holland, and you don't really know how good that league is. I mean, yeah, we're at Vitesse Arnhem, and obviously the big teams are Ajax and PSV and Feyenoord. But it's apparently helped him, and they loved him there. Maybe the set pieces thing is a good thing, but the one thing I will say is it's like we do already have a free kick taker in the shape of Pablo Hernandez, don't we? Really, so it's not as though we were in desperate need, but maybe he's just, if we do manage to keep him long term, he's a long term replacement for Hernandez. I don't know.
I wouldn't say so, because in terms of both good at free kicks, but everything else, they're very different players. And they play in very different positions. They're going to have very different jobs to do. You're not going to be expecting Pablo Hernandez to win balls in the middle of the pitch and just, spread around. He's someone who's, get the ball to his feet. He's going to take people on and so on. But, yeah, I mean, I could be proved wrong, and he could turn out to be a brilliant signing. But, while he did very good for Vitesse, is it Vitesse?
I was calling Vitesse Arnhem. I don't know any other way, but I'm going to guess it's that.
But yeah, I mean, while he went very good, he did very well there, helped him to the first trophy, as you said. He didn't really set the place alight when he was at Borough last season. And that's one of the other concerns. Did he get a chance at Borough? I don't know, but
well, that's one thing they were saying. They were saying basically, I think I don't quote me on this. I'm not 100%, but I guess that he's got his games. I think he played 14 times, and I'm guessing that was when Gary Monk was there, and then Tony Pulis comes in with his Barca style of play, and he didn't feature because obviously hoofball. I don't know. It sounds like he's meant to be some sort of like creative sort of player. I know on the Football Manager thing, if I remember rightly, he's very versatile. Could play anywhere across the middle of the park, and a little bit further up as well. So I don't know whether it was just the system didn't suit him, so therefore he didn't get used. But like you say, it is kind of concerning if it was a case of that he just didn't play, and if it's the other way around, he played for Pulis. It was just a guess. Maybe I should have looked into it more. That's fair enough. My hands up if I'm wrong, but it just didn't seem to me, based on the description of what he's like as a player, it didn't suit what Tony Pulis would be wanting. If you get me.
Yeah, suppose we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's all we can do,
That's
really.
all we can do. Yeah. He's got him in for a reason, hasn't he?
Yeah, but like I said, it's just we've got so many midfielders. Like the one area, just don't buy any more of them. Don't bring any more in. We don't need any more, and it's that area. And like I said, if I'm proven wrong, fantastic. But I don't think he's going to offer anything that we don't already have already. If it's creativity, then we've got Phillips can be fairly creative as well. If it's winning the ball, then I think and just playing that that sort of maybe slightly holding role in the midfield. We've got a couple of players who can do that. Vernon Anita can do that. He didn't really play in that position last season, but he can do that. I think that's probably more of a natural position for him. Ronaldo Vieira as well.
Yeah, he can play there.
And the other thing that I didn't touch on was with him coming in and being a young player, is this gonna damage the growth and the chances that Ronaldo Vieira has? Because I think he could be a top class midfielder for us, in the future.
Do you think he'll retrain? Well, not retrain, but in terms of Football Manager terms, it's retrain. But you think he'll try and play him like either like Ronaldo Vieira? Obviously, he's not the tallest, but I'm going to say maybe as a centre back, maybe, or because he's quite strong, or maybe even just put a right back or something like that. You don't think he'll try and change his game that way, or do you just think he'll play him at defensive midfield and then? Because from what I understand, it's going to be a defensive midfielder and then going to be like an attacker midfielder, two wingers and a striker up top. That's basically what seems to be the setup, with obviously 3 at the back and 2 wing backs. Now, that's what I'm thinking, trying to think, is he going to be a shoe on some of the better players in, or the ones that have got more potential? Because, like I say, it's concerning if he's not going to get game time. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know, because Calvin Phillips, the way it's set up, I can't, unless he's going to play more advanced. But the thing is, from my understanding, there is one video. There's one video that explains his tactics from a couple of years ago before he went to Lille, or as he first joined Lille, and it basically the only central players really in midfield is like an attacking mid and a defensive midfielder. So that's only 2 spots for those positions. So you've got a defensive midfielder, like as you said, Anita can play there. He seems to be training with the first team. So there's every possibility he could be involved, but saying that, he could be playing one at fullbacks again and get used like he shouldn't be doing. But you've got Calvin Phillips, who I think might have more limited chances now, if I'm honest with you, unless he's going to try and shoehorn him into one of the other positions that we're probably a little bit light in. Because like I say, you got Ronnie Vieira as well, which I think it'd be Ronnie Vieira and probably Forshaw, I would guess, playing in the defensive midfield role. I think Kane, a lot of fans would like to see him go, so I don't know if he'll be featuring at all.
Hope to God not.
The 2 attacking midfield players you would think would be your Saiz and Hernandez, with either one of them maybe going on one of the wings, perhaps. But if we're breaking with we want to try and play with pace, which I think is part of the mantra, if that's the right word, for this tactic. Then Hernandez hasn't got the pace. So I'd say that he'd be one that's more likely to be central. However, Saiz isn't really renowned for playing on either of the wings, sort of thing. Although I think he did a couple of times on the left hand side, cutting in. On the wings, obviously you've got Dallas, who I think could be one of the wing backs in my opinion. He could be right back, and then you've got Alioski, who could play on the wing or at left full back. But I don't think that'll happen. I think Pearce would probably play there, in my opinion. But then up top for me is where we seem to be the weakest. I mean, we've got the young lads, haven't we? We've got Edmondson, Jack Clark, and that, and then who else is there? We've got the minutes playing up top. Ekiban, is that it?
Temenzikov or Temen fuck off.
Temen fuck off, but he's only but he's been playing in under 18s, and I don't think he's made it into under 23s yet.
Yeah, it's still, and also with the fact that Roof's apparently has been linked elsewhere, but I don't see Roof as like an out and out striker. He's not the answer to our striking problems, and I don't think you can look at him and say rely on him for 20, 25 goals a season. I think he'll chip in with a few here and there, but he blew a bit hot and cold last season. And
he's not consistent enough, and he's good. He's a good versatile option though, isn't he? Because he can cover all across like both wings and up top if need be.
Yeah, but we're in dire need of not one but two very good strikers, in my opinion. Because Ekiban, he's got plenty of energy, he's got plenty of drive and running, but that finish, the end product is just not there.
It's like Sterling.
Yeah, pretty much. And I don't know. I mean, we don't want to fall into the same pitfall we did last season when we had to, with J. Roy Grott, we picked up injuries up top and Wood had just gone, and we had to put him in, and then when he wasn't firing in goals left, right, and centre, everybody got on his back. And say what you want, but that will affect someone's confidence, and it probably affected his.
Yeah.
And if we don't want to do that. We don't want to fall into that same pitfall with someone like Edmondson, who has a lot of potential and can be a very, very good player. But if you just throw him in at the deep end and expect him to do what a recognised, experienced forward's going to do, it's going to end in tears. It's not going to work out for him, and it's not going to work out for us either. So. We're in dire need of a striker.
I completely agree with what you're saying there, especially with the fans. I mean, we're already in a bad situation. The fans aren't really happy because of the lack of signings. But getting on the current players' backs at the beginning of the season is just going to make it worse. I know a lot of people are fearing that because we're not getting any targets, so it doesn't seem like we're getting any of his targets, that Bielsa's going to walk because of what he did at Lazio. But he's still here. He's still working with the team. Someone did say something actually the other day. It were on social media, and it kind of got laughed off and being told that he's clutching at straws. But he basically mentioned, because right at the beginning of pre-season, they were showing loads of videos of training and stuff like that. And he's thinking there's not been any videos of the training or anything being shown. He said, is it kind of like, they're waiting for a certain time, like whether it be, I think before England have lost it World Cup. Is it like World Cup or when new kit comes out? Because that comes out end of month. Is he just going to release a load of, like, say that we've signed these players and have been training all along? Because that's what the concern is. The fans are concerned that the players that we bring in are not going to have time to settle into this new system. I know it's a bit far fetched, but. He's right that there's been no training videos lately for the last 2 weeks, I'd say, and like interviews with the players.
Yeah, but I mean,
just really quick, and they actually nicked my music for my Life at Leeds series on FM17.
Did they?
Yeah, I watched the videos and I thought, that's my chuffing outro tune, you bastards. But no, it's not actually mine, is it? It's available on YouTube.
There you go. Did you make it? Is it really yours? Can you really see,
I just thought, you bastards nicking my stuff. But anyway, yeah, sorry, what were we saying?
I mean, it's far-fetched. In my mind, it's Leeds. But in my mind, it's because, just because there's been no interviews, there's been no training videos, there's going to be people who had seen players, if they'd seen Vidra walk out, it'd be all over Facebook, like pictures. Yeah. Oh, there's Vidra, or there's Madison. We've signed him from Peterborough or whatever. So,
just on I think he's actually back training with them now. I think he's actually in their pre-season is Madison.
That's disappointing because I like him. But yeah, I mean, I'd love it to be the case that we were keeping it of like, oh, surprise, we've got him in all along.
Yeah.
But
I think you're right
see
there.
it.
With you saying that, I think, like you said, someone would have got a picture at least, wouldn't there? There's always people hanging around Thorpe Arch or whatever. There's always the photo snipers. So
yeah,
so
if it was 30 years ago, then yes, but there's no privacy anymore. There's no way they're keeping signings under wraps. Maybe a day or two, but not a week or two.
Yeah.
It just won't happen. So yeah, I think we could just brush that under the carpet. That's marked bullshit.
That's fair.
Why would you mark a carpet bullshit? I don't know.
Yeah,
or maybe I'd do that. I'd have a bullshit carpet.
I just thought that I just remember seeing it. I just wondered what your thoughts were on it. But
I saw the same thing, and I thought maybe
It came to the head thinking, well, actually, he's got a point that there's been no videos, but yeah, it doesn't make sense, does it? Right. Lastly, because we've missed one player, which we don't know anything about, you'll see the overlay now, and you'll see that he looks like a bag of shit, basically. That's because this lad, Leif Davis, who we've signed from Morecambe for the under-23s, he basically, it sounds like he hadn't actually made a first-team appearance at the beginning of last season, so therefore all the youngsters aren't very good if they haven't been featured at all in the league before that season, basically, because it's all done on research, and I reckon that most of the players that I've seen, like in terms of in the first team, it's guesswork more than they might have heard about them and said, oh, I've heard he's going to be quite good, give him a decent sort of rating, but in this case he's currently worse than Tom Pearce, who on this game, because he hadn't made any appearances, he's just as bad, but it's slightly better. So we don't really know much about Leif Davis. I don't think you will know, will you, Matt? Anything about Leif Davis?
No. When they signed it, I was like, who? It's one of those ones.
But it was the same as like Edmondson, wasn't it? And because we signed him from York City, was it? And we're like, well, nice one, someone for under-23s again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I can't see him coming in and playing second fiddle to Page just purely because even if he was absolutely setting the league alight for Morecambe, it still wouldn't happen. It's more of he's going to be, going into the under-18, strengthening the youth sides and so on. But one for the future, yeah. I mean, I've been trying for the last couple of minutes to try and think of some sort of Leaf joke.
Leave him alone.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't leaf on loan.
Good one. Yeah, I like that one. You got one in, you got a dad joke in there, one.
Yes.
The one thing I do know is, according to, and you've probably seen it already on the overlay, he's a left back but can play all the way up to the left wing. So looks like he's got a bit of versatility up that left hand side. But that's pretty much all we can talk about today, isn't it, really? Because there's not been much to shout about. Aside from the World Cup, I think the World Cup's distracted a few of the fans. But obviously now we're out. Obviously there's a third place playoff, but it's not really any significance in that. I want to get down to business with what's happening with Leeds. The season's 3 weeks away, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like we don't feel that we're ready. But I tell you something, I am excited to see what happens in the friendlies. I really am. I want to see this new system in action. Obviously, we're going to be playing against a couple of poor sides to start off with, or inverted commas poor, because we generally lose to one of them, don't we? But I'm just looking forward to see what it's like, because there's all this expectation that the new system is going to be really attacking, and it's going to be like we've not seen for years in terms of the eye-catching football. I mean, we have not played really good football. I mean, we played in spells, didn't we, under Gary Monk, decent football, but and to some extent Christiansen at the early stages, but it just turned to shite, didn't it? It just turned to tripe, and yeah, I'm just excited. I mean, I don't know whether you're excited now. Now it's getting closer to the season.
I'd say at the moment it's apprehension, considering where we sit with transfers.
Yeah.
Because of how difficult our first few games are going to be, if we don't have the squad capable of doing it, it could get away from us in a hurry. Like by November, it could be season over. I mean, if we went into the season looking like this with maybe a couple of loan signings added on, that relegation fodder, in my opinion. I don't think we'd be able to. I don't think we'd. Two recognised centre backs. One of them's decent. I don't really. Liam Cooper has his moments, but he's not been consistent enough for me. Pre-season would be interesting, just seeing how, you know, if
where we're at. Just see where we're at.
Yeah, but again, it's hard to really gauge where we're at with pre-season games if we haven't got the players in there that we're going to be using. And again, that adds an extra facet to it. You know, if this system is supposedly as complicated as some people say it is, it's going to take time. And the more we delay, the harder it's going to be. And then we're chasing our tails. We're playing catch up. And if you get caught in that sort of, you know, in that sort of situation in the Championship, like I said, you're not looking at promotion. You possibly, you know, you're looking over your shoulder a little bit if things start to go pear-shaped. If we, you know, and then also, like I said, while you said it's a bit far-fetched with Bielsa leaving, I think if we get to if we're where we are now with a week until the season, I can see it happening because they've more than likely they've made promises to get him to come to Leeds and so on. And if they don't make good on these promises, then I can see him just saying, well, you know what, I've shown faith. I've come here. I wanted to be a part of this project and get Leeds back to the Premier League, but you've not held up your edge of the bargain. So if you're not going to put the effort in, why the fuck should I? So I'm going to bugger off because this is going to help. It's just going to hurt his reputation in the long run, isn't it? And so and then that's it. That before the season started, it's over because who are we going to get a week again? Who are we going to get with a week to go? You know, before the season starts, that's any good. And then they've got to train them in a new system when they've done pre-season in one system, and it's just like I said,
Conte's going to be available, isn't he?
Yeah, you know.
Today, but no, I don't know. I mean, it's just I'm more just because of how crap we played last season. I just want to see because it's the same players. Don't forget. I mean, granted, yeah, we didn't have Ayling for most of that season and what have you, but I can see him for the time being playing in that back three alongside Cooper and Janssen, and with probably a couple of youngsters after make up bench or whatever. But it's just to see if he gets the same players playing better, because there's a lot of people say like for instance, Calvin Phillips is a lazy bastard, he's shit or whatever. This is just one of the people who I work with who comes out with that all the time. He's like his major scapegoat. But he's shown that he could be decent, but it's just whether anyone can get the best out of him, and it's just a case of if Bielsa is now like a more demanding coach or manager, whatever, and he's expecting the certain levels, and he's going to get dropped if he doesn't put the work in. Then are we going to see the likes of Calvin Phillips actually come to the fore and actually like stick two fingers up to all the fans that doubt him in that by proving that he is capable? Because, you know, the previous managers for me, they seem like they've been a bit of a soft touch and in some way, shape or form. And I don't know, I thought Heckenbottom might have been different, but the performances and the results weren't there, so it were always going to end up badly with him. But it's just with Bielsa, with his reputation, to get the best out of young players. That's the key thing. It gets the best out of young players. And Calvin Phillips might be a little bit older now. He's 22, I think. Is he 23 nearly? He's still technically a young player until he gets to probably 25, I reckon. So there's every chance. I mean, there's even a chance for Hadi Sacco based on that. But I'm not entirely sure on that one.
Well, if we ain't got if we don't sign anyone, then I don't think we've got any other options to play him, really, have we?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. He could turn around and just, you know, show everyone that he does have what it takes to play for us. But I don't know. I mean, it's just the main thing. I don't doubt he has quality. It's the consistency.
Yeah.
He started the season pretty well, and then he tapered off. Admittedly, you know, that's kind of been the overall theme of Leeds last season. Very good for a spell, very bad for a spell. But I hope Bielsa can get the best out of him. I can see maybe Calvin Phillips playing not so much second fiddle, but as, you know, the same sort of role that maybe Asai's plays, because he is a creative player. You're not going to probably expect Calvin Phillips to start rushing back and breaking up play and then, you know, just passing the ball off. I don't think he's that kind of player. I think he's a more creative-minded player. He's, you know, eyes forward rather than eyes back, if that makes sense. So hopefully the manager can get the best out of him, but I mean, the one good thing is if if Calvin Phillips isn't doing the job, then we're not really short of backup options in the centre of midfield, are we?
No, that's true. Very much true. And we've got that guy, Sim Boy or whatever he's called. I mean, he's like 24, and we've never seen him play. I think he was signed for under 23s. He's not under 23 anymore. So who knows? Maybe he might be our saviour. He might be like a new signing. And let's not forget, we've got Ideguchi and Click, coming back into the side. So we've got, like I said, we've got a hell of a lot of options that can play in centre midfield. But it's just been interesting to see exactly what the positions are and whether it is just going to be a defensive midfielder and attacking mid, because with so many central midfielders, there's no, we've got that many. Why are we not getting rid of any of them? Because they might be able to play defensive midfield, some of them, but I don't know. We've just got too many players in that one for those two roles, if you like, and like I said, more than 3 and 4 players per position, it seems. So I don't know.
I mean, just adding on to that, I mean, if the system demanded having 3 centre midfielders, you can kind of see it, but it doesn't. So why did we sign one? Why have we not got rid of any? So I don't know what he's planning to do. Maybe he's planning to convert some into other positions, but I can only hope not, because we need some out and out players who've been playing that particular, whatever position it is, be it left wing or right wing or forward or centre back, playing that position, experiencing that position. I think that's the only way we're going to move forward.
Yeah, just fine for me. Just touching on the playing players out of position and stuff, it's like that's what he did at Chile, didn't he? He played Arturo Vidal, I think, as the right centre back. So that's why I'm thinking like Vieira might, or someone like that. Although Vieira's not the tallest, that's the one concern I've got with that. But but anyway, thank you very much as always, Matt. It's great to have you on board again. And anything anyone else in the comments wants to say or disagree, or you think we've missed or something like that, something that we've forgotten about? We think we've covered it all because there's not been a great lot happen. Who would you like to see us sign realistically? Is a current question. It's a question from the last one, I think, but it's obviously. It's hard at the minute because we don't really know where we stand with certain players. I mean, it looks like the Vidra and Hernandez deals are off, which is a shame because they are 2 top players for our level. It's just be interesting to see if you think there's any players out there who are realistic to come, because obviously Lewis Grabban went as well, didn't he, to Forest? So that's one that I think a few people mentioned.
Yeah. And also in the comments, if you've got any better Leaf jokes for Leaf Davis, make sure you put them down there, because I want to see those. I want to see if anyone can top the terrible efforts that we put together.
Yeah. And also on that, don't forget to check out, of course, Mattinho's channel. If like mainly racing driving, Formula 1 driving, or whatever, any sort of racing is your thing, I'll let you go ahead and pimp your channel. Go, mate.
Yeah, it's mainly racing driving. I've been saying I'm going to get back to Football Manager, and I am going to get back to it at some point as soon as I find some time. But if you like sim racing, and the words of an idiot, I suppose, come over to my channel and see what it's all about.
Yeah, he's a funny guy, Matt. You'd have a laugh if you're watching him anyway. I've watched a couple of his videos.
Oh, the one other player we forgot, Tyler Roberts. We forgot about him.
Yeah, shit, yeah. He is a bit of a forgotten man. We signed him in January. We've never seen him. He's had 3 managers. You know what I mean? He's yet to play a game. Be interested to see what he's like, if I'm honest with you. But that's another reason to be excited for the friendlies, because you'll probably see some of the players, or a player, that we haven't seen yet. Or, like I say, Ideguchi, likes of him, and Click again to see what they're like. Tyler Roberts, of course, that's one striker we've got. But I still think, like you, that we need 2 top quality strikers, because we can't be relying on like a 19-year-old Tyler Roberts.
Yeah, true. My wish would be Marriott from Peterborough.
I know you like him. You got a bit of a strong confidence, haven't you? But
a little bit. I think it's the hair, bro.
Is that what it is? It's the man bun or whatever he's got.
Yeah, beats Calvin Phillips do every day of the week.
Beats my hair. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. But anyway,
me too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're hairdresser buddies.
Yeah, well,
100
miles apart. Maybe we'll FaceTime or something. I don't know.
I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, yeah,
Nah.
thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, obviously, to check out Mattinho's channel. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, go ahead and press that like button. Let's see more. Feel free to subscribe. And yeah, until the next one, which hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be next week. We'll get some signings in. Fingers crossed. But otherwise, it'll be when something else happens, or if there's enough happen to warrant a video. But ideally, it's every week. But anyway, until next time, we'll see you then. Bye bye.
Bye bye.